All right, so I'm just giving everybody else a chance to hop on. I must apologize again for the late start. And so just trying to give each person a chance now to just jump on the call. I'll give it about 2-3 minutes just for everybody to jump in, and then now we can get started. All right, like I said, just giving it some time, guys. So just bear with me.
I mean, where the fuck should I really even start? I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my niggas cross the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they dead, thought my raps were the facts, so they sat with the bars. I got 2 phones, one need a charge. Yeah, they twins, I can tell they ass apart. I got big packs coming on the way. I got big stacks coming out to save. Got Lil Max with me, he the wave. It's a big gap between us in the game. In the next life, I'm trying to stay paid. When I die, put my money in the grave. When I die, put my money in the grave. I really gotta put a couple niggas in their place. Really just lap every nigga in a race. I really might tap this nigga on my face. No CC, let me slap with the face. I used to save hoes with a mask and a cave. Now I'm like, nah, I'm good both ways. Ain't about to die with no money out in gave. I was on top when that shit meant a lot. Still on top like I'm scared of the drop. Still on top, and these niggas wanna swap. Niggas wanna swap like it's sauce in a watch. I don't wanna change cause I'm good where I'm at. Mob top, so I'm always good where I'm at. Word to Junior, Jazzy, Baby J. Tell them when I die, put my money in a crack. Couple figures kill the store, look to left. She fucking nigga, then she on to the next.
Yeah, so again, good evening, guys, and welcome to another live market scan. And as we're doing these sessions, is just try to assess where we have been at the start of the week and what's the likely outcome for the remainder of the week, right? And I'll just start things off with gold, because the last time that we assessed this pair, we were looking at these levels in the market, which I've highlighted here to say that if we got the fail close above 1494, if we got the market failing to close beneath this level, then the area that we would be looking at would have been these highs. However, your first target point would have been 1502. And as you can see, we got the fail close above that area, and the market did what? Pushed all the way here. The lows that we were looking at was 1486. They say that we need to see price acceptance beneath 1486 in order for us to consider any short to the downside. And granted, this is the daily time frame, and even then, as you can see, there's really no price confirmation to the downside here, because we got this strong impulsive move down. The market simply rejected these lows, these extended lows, and all we have is what? Price action pushing back to the upside. So we're finding ground above 1486 and below 1550. Let's just round this up to say 1560, 1516, right? So that's the overall area that the market is trading in between, right? So if we pull it up to the down to the daily time frame, we can we simply have the information there that the market has been stuck in a range trading in between these levels. So what's the next target for gold immediately would be to identify but the market pushing up to the highs of 15, 16, down out of the lows. So if we're here now, what would be your next target? 1502 in this zone, and then 1516. So these are the things that we'll be looking at. So there ain't much to say about gold. It's just where we are in the market for the past couple of days. We've been stuck within the range and just trading in between these levels, right? So you can utilize your own trading strategy to determine your entry and exit points out of these trades. So let's pull up to Euro USD. And what we're looking at out of Euro USD, what we said we wanted to see the last time that when we're assessing the market, we were saying that we want to see the price do what? Come down into this low, and then we would simply be looking for buying opportunities out of the low, taking it back up to 1256. We got the price to come down into the low, but we failed to get a close above resistance. The market simply squeezed above and then fell off, coming back down into the support here. So what's the next outcome? So we can know this move has been done and dusted. So we no longer can hold on to that overall bias to the upside as yet, right? So we now have to look back to see where we were in the daily, where we were in during the dailies, and what's the likely outcome of this market. Now, from what we're seeing here on the daily time frame, and I really just working with the daily because we would have done the analysis already from before on the weekly time frame. So we're just simply moving forward now to see where we are in terms of market structure, right? So we have pressed down. This is the overall anchor holding up the downtrend. So that's what we see the market doing now. So the market has found price acceptance in these areas and now pushing back to the downside. So what's the likely outcome of this overall structure is further play to the downside. However, in this particular instance, you don't want to be pushing at the market to be coming down low, because what? We're in support, and you don't want to be selling in support. You want to sell from resistance down into support. So where's the resistance level for you now? Anywhere along these areas. So what we would simply be looking at now is for the market to come back up into these areas and then continuation to the downside, right? We could even make a case, because the market has created a potential double top or a M pattern, and what you find is that the market always retests the neckline before doing any additional move. So what we're simply doing now is to see the market, is to look for the market to reject this area, find resistance, and then now we can look for potential shorts in the market, right? So how would we play this? You simply pull down to your 4-hour to identify what are the areas for you in the market. And the first area that you want to be looking at would be this area here. So how you'd be playing this? Buying up into this area and look for the market to push down, because we would have already identified that the market looks like it's going down. All right, I'm not sure. Let me know if everybody is able to hear me. If the audio is coming across clearly for everybody, let me know, please. Simply just press a 1 so we can know, so I know that you have good audio. As I guess Chrissy is saying that it's low, so let me know. simply put a 1 in the chat box and let me know if you're able to hear. All right, then perfect. I have a 1 there. All right, so I guess check your audio from accuracy just to let just to be sure. All right. So when we see the market, if we're looking for the market to come into these lows, oh, no, I have so again, like I said, if everybody's here, most of the people here are hearing me. So just check your settings, check your mic, or your speaker, turn up your volume or something, because it seems to be fine on my end, and a couple of people here are also hearing me. So if you can just check and let me know. Right? So the market is pushing down. What are we going to do now is to simply trade back into support. And if we're anticipating that the market is going to break this level, what's the closest support for the market? It would have to be in these areas, right? Anywhere in these areas. So you could identify that the market comes down into these lows, right? So the levels that you have to watch now for the remainder of the week is this level here, 1130. If we get a close above this area, then now we can look to target the highs. A failed close, you're simply targeting the lows of the market. You would possibly want to be assessing the market as it approaches your support zones, right? So that's what I'm looking at now for Euro USD. Pound, what we're saying that we're looking out of pound is we're looking for movement in the market around these areas. If we got a break and a close above this area, then we'd possibly be looking for the market to push higher. However, if we fail to get price acceptance above these areas and the market pushes down beneath this area here, then I would simply be doing is targeting these lows, and then now from these lows would simply be looking to buy. So if we are down here at the moment, which the market did in fact find its way down to 28.46, the market found its way down there, then all we should simply be doing now is looking for opportunities for the market to potentially go higher. So we can simply eliminate these things out of our setup now, because the move has already been completed to the downside. So all we have to do now is to look to see where the next setup would lie, right? So the lows that we're looking at now is 28.46, right? If we get the market to close beneath this area, then now you can look at continuation to the downside. However, we had done the previous analysis on this pair last week to say that what we're looking for, we're simply looking for the market to come in and tag this 20 period moving average and then to continue to the upside. So now we are in that overall zone. So this area now becomes very important for us in order to watch that area to see what price does as it approaches this area. And then now we can possibly look to target the 130 zone. So if you take back this now and pull it back down to the 4-hour time frame, all we simply have to do now is to identify our next course of action to the market. So I feel close beneath this area, then we're simply looking to target the highs. All right, a close of this area, and then we're looking for the market to push higher. So now we simply have to utilize your strategies that you have and your rules of entry to determine how you're going to take this trade. But at the moment, we're definitely at a key decision era in the market that we have to really look and assess price action to determine the next possible outcome. But for me personally, based on what I've seen here, the market definitely looks like we are in for another play to the upside, right? But again, I'd want to see confirmation beneath this low and possibly a retest of that area, and then I could take up the short to the downside, right? Otherwise, a failed close around this area, then I'm just looking for the market to go long, right? And if we pull in a little bit closer on this now, we realize that the market is already, price action is rejecting these lows. You're finding the dojis around these areas, even though we're pushing down now, what we're looking to see, and this is a 4-hour candle. So we're looking in the next 3 hours and 11 minutes that's remaining for this candle to close, is to assess price action to see where we are in terms of structure and what's the likely outcome of this overall trade, right? So that's what we have to do now in regards to this, and to assess where we are in the market to see if we have continuation to the downside or further plays to the upside, right? If you look, you could also make a case that you're having a smooth trend to the downside. So what you want to see here is possibly a break and retest of this area, and then for the market to go higher, right? But again, like I said, your trade requirements or your entry rules would assist you with determining these points, right? So this could possibly make a case again for a falling wedge in the process of building here, coming out of this peak, this lower low here, or this pivot low, swing high. We got confirmation here, another swing high, and we got confirmation getting beneath the previous swing lows, right? So we're looking for another swing high and get the market beneath this area. Fail to get beneath this area in that swing, we're looking for potential change, and we can play back to the upside. USD CAD. Again, we were looking at this overall area. Let me see, when was this? The 31st of October. So this was further back, right? So again, I guess we're saying that we're looking for the market to come into this area and then push up. If we get price acceptance below this overall area at 31.45, then we'll be looking to the 31.20 zone, and then from there we would look for continuation of price to the upside. Let's just have a quick look at the daily to see what the price action is like there. Right, and on the daily time frame, we realize that we're coming out of strong support here. The market broke above this level, retest the zone, and we're looking at continuation to the upside. However, we're in a key area now in price action, right at this zone. So what we have to do here is to really assess to see what price is going to do around this area, because this now becomes an area of interest to us. All right, so I'll have to do now, take it back to the 4-hour time frame and see what, and look to see what's the likely move for the market. And we could easily get a fake out to the upside and then continuation down. So this is one play to look for, and your area to watch here would be the highs of this candle. So this now becomes the area for us to watch and for further plays to the downside. So we're looking at 32.10 to give us an indication in terms of price action, and then failed close. If the market failed to close above, we can simply take our trade to come back down into the lows of 31.23 in this area. Right, so that's what we'll be looking at out of USD CAD. As it relates to USD JPY, remember this now is working out very nicely for us. Remember that what I said there in the last session is that the market is doing what? Duplicating the plays that it made down here. Right? We highlighted this to say that the market is duplicating the move that it made here on the downside, and to mimic that same play here to the as well. So we looked at the swings that the market pushed higher. We looked at the same thing here. All the market did was to simply come in, tag the trend line, and then to continue to the downside. What I was assessing live last week is I completely disregarded this candle and to say that we're looking now, because we're here, we're looking to see the market come back and retest. However, based on the pattern completion. But what happened is that the market already tested this overall structure using this one pin bar candle here. So it initially completed the move. So we're simply looking now. So we simply was looking for the market to come down into these lows, and that's exactly what we got, the market to come into these lows. From these lows, we could simply swing back the trade to the highs. So now we're back in the highs. All we simply have to do now is to trade back to the lows. That's all we have to do. Trade back to the lows. So what would I be looking at for now out of this trade? Continuation to the downside. Right? What's the target area? If we're trading back into the lows, your first target area would be down here. That's an overall play. But what you want to do is, because this is support, we're assessing our trade as it approaches the 108.50 zone. Assess our trade as it gets there. And then now we simply continue. Right, so that one is pretty clear. Very, very clear. This now completely shattered our analysis in the sense that we said that we wanted to see the market push higher and then continuation to the downside. And we were targeting this area, right? The market continued into this area, but then it did what? Simply rejected it and push higher. So we didn't get the play out of the market to swing high before the low. We simply got the market to just come back down into the level that we were targeting, and then the market simply rejected that level, and then continuation to the upside. So you see that the area in itself was still respected. The only thing that was lacking was the continuation of price to the upside. And what would have eliminated that thought if you were analyzing the trade live, or to take a potential trade out of it? Right here, you would have seen where the market have created this inside bar here, which again is giving you a strong bullish bear sentiment out of the market. So if you were assessing this trade live, you would have already have these levels. So all you'd be looking at now is to gain added confluence to know where you're going to trade. And this is why your overall trading strategy would come into play, right? To assess the market to see where you are. So you would have easily picked up the market to say that we would have had a strong bullish pressure here to see the market come back down. If you look, we also failed to close above this overall structure here, which would have been acting as market resistance. And then that completed the move to the downside. So now that we're at this place, let's pull it back to the daily, assess where we are in terms of market price action, and all we're simply looking for now is for the market created this overall pattern here, double bottom, pushed up to the neckline, well, pretty much just around the base of the neckline. So what we're simply doing now is watch the market to come back to about 50% of this overall move. That would be your first play. So if you pull out your fib levels, and assess the overall play. Your overall zone now to watch would be in this area. You can either watch the market as it approaches these areas and look for rejection as it tags each level. So the first level, 61.8. Watch to see what it does. If it gives you a sign, you look at the 50. If it gives you a sign, you look at the 38. And then you can look for continuation to the upside. Right, so you can just simply watch these levels as the market progress. Right, so for me, I would be anticipating the market to come down into the 38 and then further continuation to the upside to complete this overall pattern. And where is that? Right here. So the overall target would be 99.96, or let's just put it at an even one, $1. So the levels to watch, this is where we are now in the market. Assess when as the market approaches in this overall zone. Like I said, in that overall zone, we're looking for potential price action. So because of that, I won't even put out a level. I just say that you assess the price as it gets into this area. And these areas to watch, $98.90 and 99. So that's roughly about 20 pip or so. Yeah, roughly about 20 pip. So just assess the market as it approaches these areas, right? And then now you can use your strategy to determine the overall entry that you'll be looking at. Pull it, and that's on the daily time frame. The same is true for the 4-hour because you're looking at the overall market structure here. And what we're simply looking at here is we have a 20 period moving average, which for me, I utilize that as an area of support and resistance for the market. It in lines with your potential trend, and you could look at the market continuation to the highs, right? So you look for the market to come into these areas and then rejection to the highs, right? Could push it up there. However, so let's pull this as one scenario. The next play that you want to look at is that the market had found resistance here on its way down, and the market is likely to test these levels before it moves, right? So that's why I said assess the market as it approaches this area. The price generally likes to retest the areas that it's coming from before it completes its overall move. And if you look at it now, you're seeing that this overall structure here is potential. We could make the case for this level to become what? A double top. And if we look at it as a double top, where is your neckline? Your neckline would be in this area. right, which is where we are now, and also what's the start of this overall pattern? Where's the move coming from that started this pattern? It's coming right here. This is a play, right? So that's why I said now that you want to assess it, because the play stopped right here, right? So this zone is the support and resistance zone. So you want to watch the market as it approaches these areas. NZD, USD. Look, this one played out very nicely for us. This one played out very nicely. So what we're looking at, this is the overall area that we're looking for price. We saw price up here. We said that this is the area that we're targeting. However, in order for us to target this zone, we need to see price action to come back into this area before continuation to the upside. And the market did just that. So this was a clear textbook example of the things that you would be looking for in the market. So if you have your overall requirements and rules of entry, you could have easily executed your trade here from these lows up into these highs, which is exactly what the market provided to us here. Now that we're at this level in the market now, you see that the market has created what here? A bearish double pattern. What we need to see out of the market now is retest of this neckline, right? And for the market we need to see the retest of that neckline. So if we are here now, what's the closest level for us to watch? We can use this area right here for support. And all we're simply doing now is to assess the market back up into these highs. Right? So all simply, the levels for this is quite clear to watch. This is the area that you want to be assessing price. And we're pulling up for the market to come back up into these highs to retest this overall structure. It created a smooth downtrend, retested this area, and strong impulse to the downside. We need to get confirmation of this overall area. All right, so that's why I'm simply assessing price to come back here. So I won't even go to the daily time frame for this, as I should. And even if we do, let's see, we're already getting, you realize that we are in what? Strong support. So we're just simply looking for the market to go back up and retest those areas. All right, so that's the only play that I'm seeing now for NZD USD. Right, so what you want to do, simply assess price as it comes down here, and we look to take the long back to the highs. As the USD, again, we were looking for the market to come up into these highs. We did not get it. The market simply did what? Respected this overall level here. So we didn't get the push up into the resistance level that we had spot on the daily. So this was the resistance level that we were looking at on the daily. All the market did was to come back and tag this low right here. That's all the market did, tag this low. And then continuation to the downside. So if we pull that in play now, always should simply be looking for now. Where are we in the market? We're in this overall area right here. So I was simply looking for now is for the market to do what? Push back to the upside. That's all we're looking for the market to push back to the upside. If we should get a close beneath this area, Before you take a trade, you want to get confirmation of the retest of the area before picking up any trade to the downside, because this level right here is a strong area in the market in terms of support and resistance in the market. Strong support level to the market coming down, and it's also a strong resistant level to the market going higher. So now that we're back in that area, you don't want to be short in this market with price action beneath this area to take it to the lows. You need to get the confirmation of this area acting now as resistance before you can send the price low. And when you're sending price low, or when you're short in the market, all you're simply doing is looking for the price to come back down into these areas, right? So that's the area that you'll be looking at. Any failed level out of this, all we have to do is to simply assess the price to come back higher. And because we're already in a strong level in terms of support and resistance for this price, the market is acting as a strong support zone. All we can simply do is what? Push the market back higher. So for me personally, I would be looking at this area for long opportunities, and you would be targeting these highs. We looked at gold. Well, I'm not touching silver. Yeah. So like I said, the market provided very nice price action and movements between last week and this week, and we can see that the levels were very well respected across most of the pairs. The zones that we're looking at in terms of reversal zones and target levels, they've pretty much been hit. And I think I remember that we were looking at the green areas, the green levels as target zones, and each and every one of them were hit. This one here, this one here. I don't remember where we had this one, but like I said, we were looking at it to come back down, right? We have confirmation of it there. We have confirmation of the market coming back down into, well, pushing up into these highs, I believe. I don't remember, but if we're looking at it, we realize that these levels are there, right? So now that we're here, the only thing we're looking at now, so let's just work with this now and let's pull it out back so that next week we can assess these things. I'll utilize again the green to identify the levels that I'll be targeting. And for gold, that's the first area. Euro USD. This is the area that I'm targeting immediately. And then now we're looking at this area and this area, right? So we're watching this level first, and then we react to the price action from this area. Pound USD, now that we're here, we're simply doing what? Looking to swing it back to the highs. USD CAD, what we're simply doing, looking to swing this back to the lows. And if we're looking at this area now, so that's a target point. So let's put that at green, USD CHF. Target zone would be this one here. And we're putting this up here in the highs, and we're putting this at yellow, because that's the one that we would want, where we want to see the price. after we get price action down here. NZD USD, simply looking back at these highs. Aussie USD back at the highs. All right. Now, if you guys have any pair that you wanted me to look at, I'll hope you can simply, well, let me just give you the option to unmute yourself. So you now have that option of unmuting yourself. If you have a pair that you wanted me to look at, I can definitely do a quick run through of that now, because we were able to go through this pretty smoothly tonight. All right, CAD JPY. And as I would with all pairs, because I'm not sure what levels you'd be trading, whether it's an intraday or on a swing trade perspective, I would assess it as I would trading it for myself. And this is monthly low. Monthly high. We're in resistance. So right off the bat, the fact that I'm in resistance, I would be doing what? Assessing the market to come lower. Because it's selling out a resistance. It's now to identify where we are in terms of market structure. All right, and on the weekly, we could use this area as the trend. Because we have the monthly trend line there, but this is the trend on the weekly. This is simply the level that we're looking at on the weekly time frame. So we know that above there, well, let's leave it in because we're so close to it, so let's leave it in. We're looking at this overall little channel here in terms of monthly and weekly, right? I know that I'm here now in price, so this is the level that I'll be targeting if we get price to continue to the upside. What's the level that I'll be targeting if I push in to the downside, and it would be back into this area right here. All right, so I take that down now to the daily time frame. It started from people were screaming, and it was complete chaos. I reacted. That doesn't make me serious. So we know directly that the monthly, so if we look, monthly is down, weekly is down, this is an anchor, potential anchor now that the market is currently testing. And daily is giving us bullish signal. So we can look at all of this now simply as a potential counter trend trade. However, we know now that we're approaching a daily resistance level. So the only thing that we should be looking out of this overall market now is for continuation to the downside. Now, where would this play come into? We're now, we're in what? Daily support zone. Right around this area, we have support. right? So what I'll be looking at out of this now is for any additional movement to the upside, and then pulling it down, right, based on where we are in terms of price. Because if we assess, we can look at this smooth trend to the upside, market pause around resistance here, and then coming back down into support. So we must look at further resistance being at play in the market. So that's all I would want to be, that's all I would want to see, right? So all I would simply do now on the 4-hour is to assess where we are in terms of price. And if our plays to the downside, we want to look at where the opportunity would lie to short the market to the downside. And it would be right in this overall area. So I'd be looking at any movement here, and then continuation here, and these would become my target zones. Right, so you can now use this information, utilize your trade entry rules, and then now you can simply execute your position to either direction in the market. Right? Any other hopefully that explained what I'd be looking at. Right? Anything else? If that's it, I'll just close this off, because we have some very good levels that you can look forward to throughout the remainder of this trading week. All right. Already shortened, and from 83, I would look for an exit at 82. Okay, well, yeah, definitely. And if you had shorted at 83, your short would have been up here. All right. So, and all I simply say now is that if you're here, you'd have been nicely positioned in profit, right? Because you'd have already taken out of the trade, what, 50 pip, 42 pip now, right, out of the trade. This now would be your area to watch the market. So you keep your stop loss above this area, right? Offload some of your position from now, and then now you can look to re-enter your position at another shorting opportunity here, right? Because like I said, we're looking now for the pullback out of this play, and then for continuation to the downside. Right, so I'm not looking at this movement up here. Yeah, so you should be in a good position. All right, so leaving it here for tonight. Like I said, we have some good levels that we can look forward to. So we'll look at them as the week progress, and we'll look back at this thing come next week, Wednesday. All right, for those who are a part of the mentorship group, I'll see you guys in the morning, where we'd start our live trading session and just look for the active trades. All right. So I'll be available in the group after my trading session completes. Once I'm not free, once I don't have any other sessions going on, you guys can send in your questions. I'm not the only trader in the group, so all you can simply do is just ask your questions there. Persons can, with the knowledge, our persons can always share their own opinion, because the whole reason of the group is to create an environment for traders to communicate and to share their thoughts. You learn better when you're a part of a group. When you're trading on your own, it can be very frustrating. So it's always good that you find somebody to trade with, whether it's a friend, well, generally it would more likely be a friend But if you don't have any friends, you find yourself in a trading group community such as this, right? And then now you are now able to learn based off what other people are doing. If you still want to, in how should I say now, speed up that growth, then now you can pull yourself on to a mentor, because all the mentor is simply going to do is to assist you with understanding the market a lot faster and minimize the mistakes that you're likely to make by trading on your own, right? And that's all we simply do on a day-to-day basis. And for those who are in the session during the mornings, they have a first-hand experience to see exactly how I trade and to see the things that I look for in the market whenever I'm going to open a position. And we simply trade with we simply trade with make precise entries in the market. So like I said, it's just for you now to decide what you want to do. Right? The community is always there, but to speed your growth, right, towards developing consistency, right? Then now we can simply move forward from there. Um, you should hire me as an analysis. Well, the group is there for you to share your analysis work with others, right? The group is there, right? Um, and let your work speak for itself. Trust in your analysis. If you're having problems, then now you can simply find someone to teach it. Doesn't have to be me, but because since you're here and you have already seen what we are able to do just by looking through the market now, and this is just looking at overall directions out of the market. We're not looking for entries here. We're just simply looking for the areas in which we are going to target uh, as the trading week progress, right? So you have multiple we once you find your trading strategy, you can simply enter the market with full confidence. So if you have a strategy that's working for you, then that's very good, right? Stick to your strategy. If you need help improving that, find a mentor, find somebody to help you. However, it's always good when you can communicate in a trading community. And remember that nobody started out in trading knowing everything. So don't be afraid to ask questions, because it's the only way that you're able to learn, through asking. I might not be there to answer you, but there you have Rich One already giving out his well, I'm not sure if his or her, but Rich One already providing the option for you guys to take advantage of that, to use him or her to identify or to help or to give a second opinion on your overall trades, right? And it's just to get a second eye to look at things. Sure, Chris, go ahead. Um, Let me unmute you so that you can just simply ask a question openly. Yeah, Chris, so you can go ahead now.
Yeah, yeah, man. Right. One question, right?
Yeah.
The trend lines are basically like um, are they basically like resistance and support lines, but for a trend?
Exactly. Remember that the market moves. The market moves in two states. The market is either trending or the market is either ranging,
Hmm.
and the
Right.
market moves just by price action. Price action must find support. Price action must find resistance. So the
Right.
market the market is always moving in between support and resistance. Always.
Right.
There's no other way for the market to move. The trend line is simply to identify support and resistance in a moving market, or in an incline market, or a declining market, right? Or
Right.
an accelerated market, or a deaccelerated market, right? That's all the trend line is doing.
All right. and like basically to plot that will be you have to touch like I think it's like 3 points, three pivot points.
Right, 3 pivot points. That's why I post
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. I
right,
remember seeing
right,
it.
right,
Yeah.
right. So it's there to identify these things. And one thing that you have to know is that these things aren't just exact points, they're all areas.
Like
So you don't,
zones.
right, they're all zones. Because when we're looking at the overall area and price, remember that it's human beings that are always trading.
Mhm.
We don't generally remember exact zones. We can easily remember 50s and zeros. So you can remember
Right.
dollar 50, dollar 20, dollar 10,
Mhm.
dollar 25, and these are the things. So when you
Mhm.
identify these, but we know that at some point we can say a dollar 23 because it's pretty close to a dollar 20
Close to
anyway,
the right,
right? Or
right.
we can say a dollar 97 because it's still that close to it, right? So we
Right.
have to assess these things as zones and not just direct price point. And like I
All
said,
right.
these are the things that that we cover in our mentorship plan. Because like I've said, and let me just, since you're here, let me give you guys a first-hand experience of the things that we directly cover, right? So these are the
Mhm.
things that that we go through. So it's very detailed, right? So these
Mhm.
here we have always done seminars and workshop on these things. So these are general free, just to give you an overall idea of what forex is and what are some of the terms that you lose in forex. This is
Mhm.
where we take things literal, and we go down into trying to master support, resistance, and trends. We look at trend anchors, we look at all these things, and we take time out to break these things down so you have a full understanding of what these areas are. Because when you look at
Mhm.
baby pips, when you look at YouTube, they're always just going to tell you that draw your support line, draw this, draw that. But we need to understand what these things are and
Mhm.
how they react to price. And that's what and that's what I provide in terms of the mentorship. We go through these things and pull them apart and then put them back together,
Right,
and we
right.
show how it moves, and then now we use how we can use that cohesively in terms of to complete your technical analysis, right? Because all these are just an understanding of the market in itself. When technical
Okay.
analysis comes into play now, it utilizes other factors. And that's why you have indicators and all of these things. You have top-down analysis and you have bottom-up analysis. What are these things? How are they in what are they in relation to the market and price action? And then now this is one of the main reasons why most persons fail, most traders fail, because I can teach you everything that you need to know in regards to the market and its movement and what is going to happen, and you still lose money. Because
Mhm.
if you don't have the right trading mindset and practice risk management, then you'll always lose money, right? And
Mhm.
then now I simply share with you guys now how to master trade execution and to identify key entries and exit out of trade. And we look at something very important here. And the guys that are on my morning sessions know exactly what this is in terms of institutional trading executions. So we simply look at these things. And then now I put everything together where I compile a full package and a plan that you can use to grow your account or to make money out of forex on a consistent basis. And and that now I'm simply providing you with my overall strategy, all the things you need for the strategy, and the account balance, the trade rules in terms of entries, and exits, and also risk management. And if you ask anybody, you can ask one of the persons in the group to that are on my private session to message you privately, right? That are on the
Mhm.
live trading session to message you privately and they can give you direct, honest feedback of what they're able to get there. Because maybe if I ask them to say it openly in the group, then it might come off as me trying to swing persons or
Right.
to say
Yeah.
anything. But I don't need to try to persuade persons to take take advantage of this opportunity, because I know what you will be getting in return, and the persons that are a part of the session, they're already reaping benefits from that, right? So it's just to showcase, or just to try to improve you as a trader. So when you look at what I've done now, the whole, by putting this plan that I have forward in terms of group mentorship, I have simply have aligned that now to a source where you know as a trader have unlimited access to information. So you have the platforms in terms of IML now as a library that you can utilize. I'm in the process of creating a website for myself where I'll have all these sessions compiled and placed there, so you can have access to them again in the future, right? But for the time being, you have the IML platform. You're simply paying over the subscription fee to them, and because you're going into IML through me, I allow to build my trading network that way. But my main aim is to teach each and every person how to trade. I could care less about recruiting. I don't need anybody to recruit or anything like that. But you know,
Hmm.
you simply have that choice to make whether or not you want to waive the fees that you pay to me, or you pay on a month-to-month basis to get the knowledge and to get the information that I am simply presenting. Because my mentorship plan will always be there. So if you want one-on-one mentorship, it's always there. But that is at a higher price. The group mentorship is there for each and every person to learn as a group. So I have these sessions, and I will be placing each person in different groups based on your speed of accepting these information, right? Or based on your learning speed, right? We go through these things, but the IML platform is there for you to drive home these things. My videos and my recordings will also be accessible to you to help to bring home all the information that we'll be teaching. So every single thing combined, it's a complete plan for you to utilize to improve yourself as a trader. Because it doesn't matter if you've been trading 5 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter how long you've been trading. If you are not successful out of trading, right, then you are clearly doing something wrong. And maybe you simply need somebody to help to drive home a few points. So that's all. So that's the main focus and the main reason for the group, and what we're trying to achieve,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it's that's just it, right? So I'm going to wrap it up here. And like I said, the group is always there. If you guys want to learn, you already see the course outline. You know what we're going to be doing. So it's just for you guys to know, to decide on and to take action towards your overall future in trading, right? Because either way, we must pay in order to learn. It's either we're going to pay the hard way or pay the easy way, because trading is a very brutal business, right? So it's just that plain and simple.
Hmm.
All right. So I'll
Right.
wrap. Yeah, man, no problem. So
Thanks
I'll
for the
just,
question. Yeah.
yeah, man, definitely. So I'll wrap things up there, and I'll see you guys again next week.